Hello, and welcome. You know what? I got a hot flash, so I had to, I had to turn on the fan. But I'm feeling snatched. Let me show you guys. Dun, 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 dun. No, I do not wear things that hold you in. Look at my skin. But I'm feeling snatched. Do you know what? I never wear clothes that fit my body. I said, geez Louise, when people tell me that, it is so true. I just don't. I don't know why. Maybe I need to start, but maybe I need to buy some new clothes. So, as you guys know, first of all, welcome. It is Monday. Happy Monday to ya. Happy Monday to ya. Happy Monday. You know what? I am feeling good. I'm feeling good. And you know what? I'm so proud I'm looking snatched because I did eat a good Easter dinner yesterday. So I want to know from you guys in the chat. Now, did you eat a good Easter dinner yesterday, like the Downsizing Diva? You know, I cooked mac and cheese. Now there's this beautiful subscriber that gets on me about that mac and cheese like every holiday. So I made some mac and cheese. I made some dressing, also known as stuffing. I made some candy sweet potatoes, yams. I don't know if you call them yams, sweet potatoes. My daughter loves them. Actually, they were yams. What else did I make? Oh, I made some cornbread. I had some onions and tomatoes for my greens. My dad made the greens and they were tasty. I told him to make enough so I can have enough for this week when I'm on break. So I don't have to cook another side. I might make some corn on the cob to go with it. I had corn on the cob. What else did I have? We got some dessert from Nothing Bundt Cakes. You know, I get all my birthday cakes from there. So I got that. And then my daughter made some cookies. So one of these days when I'm doing a little update, I will share. But that wasted set, you guys got to admit. I mean, geez, Louise. And I don't even have on anything that holds me in. Now, I'm just as shocked as you. You guys might say, you see yourself all the time, but I always wear big clothes. And I thought, I'm going to throw on something. Let me just tell you, I am tired. Let me take a sip of this coffee. All right, so this is Coffee and Conversations, and we're going to be talking about the FDA. You know, when it's so funny when I watch some of these people, you know, the other content creators doing the breaking news. I get my news from them, and then I got my little news sources that I get alerted by. And I always wish I could get in on the conversation, but I'm at work, so I can never get in on it. So I thought, while I am off on my spring break, I'm going to talk about this whole FDA situation in the compound. So if you guys are taking a GLP-1, first of all, let me know in the chat. I see some people in the chat. I'm going to go in the chat because that's my favorite thing to do. So I want to know, are you on branded medication in the chat, or are you on compounded medication? And let me just put up what we're talking about. Now we could talk about at the end of this whatever you want to talk about before I have to get off get off of here. But for right now, this is going to be the focus of our conversation. So the FDA just warned about these GLP-1 shots, and don't ignore this. So I'm going to tell you what the FDA said, right? What compounds are, because some people don't know what compounds are. Somebody just asked me, who's on branded medication, they're new to the medication, and they just asked me, what are compounds? So I thought everybody knew that. But I'm just thinking about the people that are in our GLP-1 community that are actually taking the meds. Well, if someone's not taking it, they wouldn't know. So we're going to briefly talk about that. We're also going to talk about what the FDA actually said. And then we're going to talk about their warning. And I think the warnings are, who doesn't want a good safety warning, right? Now, whether we should be using compounded medication or not, I'll let you guys talk about that. I think everybody should have access to these, life-changing medications, but in the safest possible way. So my conversation is always going to be about safety first, which is how we really should be operating. Safety first. But I do think that everybody should have access. And one day, these conversations are going to go down in history with this debate about, compounded versus Medicaid, but versus the branded. And if everybody should have access, and everybody should have access. People are even questioning how much weight you have to have if you should be on a GLP-1. So, it's so many conversations going on, but we're just going to focus on the facts of it all. I'm going to stay like I'm gonna say, my opinions are my opinions, and I'm gonna say what my opinions are, and my opinions are always led by safety again. So, well, let's talk about it. Let's have some cheers. Cheers to that. So, what are you guys drinking? I'm drinking, I have some Tim Hortons coffee. I was going to bring the bag, but Tim Hortons called me. Email me, Tim Hortons. I was going to bring the bag so you can see what I'm drinking. I'm not a big coffee drinker. And this is my Chicago mug. I just love Chicago. I dated one of my, nearest and dearest guys I've ever dated. And I still have, great feelings, positive feelings for him. But he's from Chicago, and we did a lot of cool stuff together. We were out of state. I don't live in Chicago. But we were out of state dating, and we just had a good old time. You know how the girls say, the young girls, he flew me out. I was a traveling sister, and so I couldn't do that. We took a break, and then I'm a mom now. I could be traveling and stuff, and then COVID came, and I always say, maybe I'll save this later to the end, so if the people who came to hear those. Hear the FDA discussion, can hear the FDA discussion. All right, so let me just say hi to the people in the chat. I thought it was just going to be me, myself, and I. So I'm glad to see people in here. Mail to the bee. She says, good morning, Didi and friends. Talk about looking snatched. Look at this lady. Somebody's calling me. Who is calling me? And where is my phone? Don't they know I'm live? It's in my ear, too. I got to get this out of my ear. Little lady, can you bring me my phone, please? Okay, so Mel is saying, please like and subscribe and join us on the vertical live stream. If you like to join us on the vertical, you can. She's saying good morning. Who else is this? Hey, boss lady, how are you? Cute profile pic. Look at you, looking all fabulous. I love the earrings, the glasses, the braids. It all works for you. Jeez Louise. 2.0 mommy, how are you? You said, I'm at the doctor with a nice surprise. I hope you're getting a great update from the doctor. Oh, 2.0 mommy, I love to see you in here. It reminds me of back when a year ago when I first started going live multiple times. Remember, I was going live multiple times. You were one of the people that kind of helped me along with that, giving my weight loss every day. So I love that. It's good to see you always. Positive T. I just love your name. Good morning, Didi and everyone. You look so happy. Look at your profile pic. You look like you're happy. Okay, wait a minute. Let me see. Who was that calling me? Maybe it's telling me on my phone. I don't know. I mean, on my watch. No. My little lady, where are you? Are you sleeping? You said you're sick of these hot flashes. I know, I really wasn't having hot flashes. I think the reason why I have one today is because last night, I'm in Ohio. I'm telling you, in Ohio, one day is 74. The very next day, it's 44. I mean, it's like a 30-degree difference, and it's cold, or either it's in the 30s. So you go from the 70s, and I don't put shorts and short sleeves on that quick. You're not fooling me. I'm 53 years in this. I know what's going on. But my daughter wants to wear a skirt or shorts, and I'm like, no, it's going to be cold tomorrow. You're going to be sick. But sometimes you gotta let kids learn the hard way, right? So I let her wear her little skirt and bebop around when she was going to she went to like an Easter egg hunt. And guess what she has going on today? She said a sore throat. So really, I don't even want her in here because I'm not trying to be sick on my spring break. But I think she must have went back to sleep. But yeah, so thank you. And I always say, because you're on TV or TV, I guess I am on some TV screens, but because you're on video, I always think people look a little bit bigger than when I really meet them in person. And so I know for myself, I feel so much bigger. And then sometimes I see myself and I'm like in a full length mirror, and I'm like, geez, I look smaller, but it's not consistent. So it's that body dysmorphia, and I don't have it to the point where maybe I do, and I'm in denial. That's a conversation for another day. But anyway, thank you, Miss Linda. She says, good morning, Didi. You are looking fabulous. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to have to stand up again. Because I don't know when I'll have something this tight fitting on again. Can you hand me my phone, please? It's in my room. I don't know where. Somebody's calling me, so I'm thinking, is it important? Because people don't usually call me this time of day. Let's see. Okay, I'm scrolling down. If I skip your name, it's not on purpose. It's sometimes it scrolls down. Oh, you had lasagna. I was gonna make a lasagna, and I just did not. Good morning, Dee Dee, Mel B, Positive T, and Liz Linda. Thank you. Are you in the video? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Oh, somebody. Oh, okay. That was the doctor's office. Okay. I was like, who is this calling me? Okay, let's see. Cookie, how are you? How are you? Look at you. Looking super cute as always. Diane, it's good to see you. She says, good morning. Yes, it's amazing how far we come. We're all doing this weight loss thing. Everyone looks like a different person from last year. I saw that too. You are so right. Isn't that so great to see? It really is. And I love that you said that because and I watch see your posts and watch you when showing you trying on your yuga and all of that. And yeah, you could see the difference. And a lot of times when we're stuck, right, we're not losing, which has been my situation. I want to say in March, I might have been down not a lot of pounds in March. I have to really go back and track it. But I want to say not even a good 5 to 6 pounds, but I'm looking snatched. I love that. So if you want to see me, you got to go back and don't rewind it now. Stay with us, but go back and rewind so you can see how I'm looking snatched up in here. I can't even believe it myself because I literally do not wear tight fit and stuff. And no, I do not have on Spanx, whatever you call that. No, I don't wear that. I need to start wearing that so I can really look snatched. Surprise Monday. Well, if you were on my Wednesday live, what you were, you might have logged out. I said, I'm going live on Monday. That's a whole nother story too. I was supposed to be going live on Monday today, and I thought my daughter was on, she's off spring break. Her break was a week or so ago. So I thought, okay, it'll just be us, right? My daughter will be gone. I won't have to wake her up and all of that. Well, I forgot she's off on Easter Monday. They call this in Ohio Easter Monday. So she is off. And because I mentioned it on my live so many times on Wednesday, I love to follow through and be consistent. So instead of switching it to Tuesday, I just stuck with Monday. And I realize people have to work, but I don't finally in the morning. So I'm on here. Hey, I'm excited. Oh, look at my girl, Nia. How are you? She says, top of the week to you all. Make it positive, productive, and pleasant. I love that. What a beauty. I love your pic too. Look at you. Okay, so Marjorie, I can always count on you to stay on track. I love that. You're going back to the gynecologist. Okay, so I go to my menopause doctor this week, and I need to check my chart because I think I need to see my gynecologist as well. So yeah, I'm just trying to get everything settled in. So when this higher insurance kicks in, I could be ready. Jeez, Lois. Okay. Any doctor under the sun. Guess what? I'm gonna have an appointment before June 1st. I'm scheduling it. Okay, let's see. Okay, where did I leave off? Okay, you're on branded medication. Oh, hi, Jack, how are you? Look at you. So cute. I love the profile pic. I love the hair. We're twinning with the hair, although you can't tell. Okay, all right. Is anybody drinking some coffee besides me? I'm drinking this coffee, but never fear. I got my water bottle ready to go. One of the things is I stay hydrated. I will say that. And then in my coffee, it's a Profi. I have this Fairlife high protein smoothie, or not smoothie. What's it called? Are these called smoothies? No, they're called shakes. So I had that going on. So yeah, I'm in there. Okay, so Sweet Bee, you meal prepped yesterday. Sweet potato hash, ground chicken, banana bread, breakfast burritos, overnight oats. So yesterday I enjoyed a slice of banana bread with cinnamon as a treat. I love that for you. Very good. Oh, that sounds good too. Okay, so you're on compound. So I'm glad, Diane, you're in here because I would love to hear from you. Nia says she's on branded. You're on compound, and I'm on compound and branded. Okay, how does that work, Miss Linda? Now I know you were switching over, so I don't know what has happened since you switched over. Okay, so 2.0 mommy, she says she's on branded. You're on branded Zepbound. That Zepbound is so popular out there. My twin, how are you? You know, I was gonna text you, my moderator, and tell you I was on here, but I know you get my notifications. I'm probably one of the few ones you get. I don't get a lot of notifications either. So yeah, and then I was so busy yesterday. Jeez, Louise. So I'm glad you're in here. Thank you. Is that Brown from Lily Direct? We're going to so why are you going to compound this month? Okay, do tell, Positive T. You're on Zepbound. Okay, very good. Okay, very good. People are saying hello. Okay, so no compounding is available in Canada, but praying for all my neighbors down south can continue their medication at the cost they can afford. The struggle to afford up here is real. Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, Mel's drinking some espresso. I love that. You're sipping on a cup of Texas pecan coffee. That sounds good. Cheers to you, ladies. Jeez, Louise, I love that pecan. I love that. Sounds good. Everyone should have access to the meds, but my experience led me back to the. Okay, so what happened with your experience, Miss Linda? Let us know. Because if it's a safety issue, we got to get that message out so we can help folks. I've been on branded medication my whole journey, started on Wegovy, and then you switched to Zepbound. Okay, very good. Your branded medication started with Wegovy and then switched to Zepbound. Okay, all right, very good. Okay, so you're drinking Javi coffee concentrate, a half of premium protein as a creamer. Yes, I love that. Okay, and I agree with Miss Linda. Let me go back to this. Miss Linda said everyone should have access. I agree with that. 110%. Okay, you're speaking my language. Born and raised in Chicago, and now you are. Are they based in California? And you know, normally I like an organic coffee, and I don't know. The organic one I had, I think I was there and like it was one left, and the package looked a little shaky. The kind I buy Pete's Organic. I think that's what it's called, coffee. And I didn't get it. I ended up getting this, but it's pretty tasty. Cheers again. I love it. Okay, so Linda said, I'm just drinking water, took my thyroid meds, and have a couple hours before eating. Okay, very good. Okay, I love that. You had a protein shake, you have a 40-ounce tumbler of ice water and coffee too. Yeah, we got to stay hydrated so we can look fabulous. Miss B, no, Miss B, I'm on spring break. Yeah, got to grab my Profi. Go grab, oh, Miss B, look at you. Wait, let me get these glasses, honey. Oh my goodness. Check her out. Oh my goodness, you're looking fabulous. Fabulous. Oh, I love it. Jeez, Louise. Okay, so that's how the weather is in Texas, is it? Now, one of my BFFs lives in Dallas, Texas. Yeah, and I just know the weather there is. It's not as bad as though when she lived in Houston. She used to live in Houston, and that Houston weather, that was no joke. I mean, geez, Louise. Okay, so I'm scrolling down. You're in Michigan. Oh, I love Michigan. About to Michigan weather and Ohio weather are twins, right? We have a lot in common. Also, Indiana. Yeah, it's crazy. The weather is crazy. Okay, so let's talk about the compounds of it all. Somebody else is okay. Diane says she's been on compounds since November 2024 and had great results. Now you're in maintenance at 1.75 milligrams. Now you guys are going to have to help me with the doses of it all with the compound if that comes up. Okay, so Miss Linda is saying she didn't like compounds. She tried different compound companies going for 7 months, but ordered Lily Direct Zepbound. The story is too long. Make a video and let's make a video, Miss Linda, about it, and I'll share it out. Jeez Louise. I just think at this time when everything is so, shaky with the FDA, especially if it's a safety concern, because we want people to, to be aware of that. Compound tirzepatide, my whole journey to go. We love that for you. Very good. So if people that are successful on compounds and Okay, so this is did you try you have to try several companies to get the right one, or have you used the same company? Great question. So if you have a great compounding pharmacy, yeah, I mean, you share that so we can know, because that's one of the FDA's whole concern, right? Is the big thing is safety. So we just kind of want to make sure that we hit on that. I love that. Dee Dee, you got the around about the Houston. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes, Miss V is looking good. Grant, how are you? Welcome in. How are you on this Easter Monday? How are you doing? Okay. Jay to the C. She says, good morning, all in and out of the chat. Unfortunately, there are a lot of politics involved. Yes, for sure. Absolutely. So, first of all, I had somebody ask me yesterday. So, I'm going to just put this up here. So thank you for answering that question. So I'm just going to put this up here. A compounded GLP-1 is basically a version of the medications like Ozempic, Mounjaro, or Zepbound, Wegovy. But instead of coming from the official manufacturer, which is Novo and Lilly, are the ones that we always refer to here. It's been mixed or recreated in a pharmacy. So that is what compounding meds are. Now, if I get something wrong, feel free to correct me in the chat, because I'm not, I don't use it. So I'm not really as versed on it, like the doses, but so many of the subscribers and the people that enjoy and support my videos are on compounded meds. So, if you guys know something I don't know, let me know. So we just want to have a discussion about what is up with this. Why is the FDA coming in hard? I think this is kind of like one of the, I want to say the most kind of a hard line they're seeming to take with these compounded medications. And then I have a question for the FDA. I mean, they have been coming out saying, the shortage is over. Nobody could do compounded medication anymore. And I feel like sometimes it's just a lot of it reminds me of telling a kid, warning the kid, and you never do anything. So of course they continue to do it and continue to do it. And then when you get up, over time, you're, upset because all along they're not listening, and then you kind of go off. And I feel like that's what the FDA is going to do, and I don't really want that to happen. I feel like if you say something, stop making threats and actually follow through with something. So I don't think that they've really been following through with these threats. So is there a new, some new way of handling things? Is something going on? Of course, we all know politics are involved in everything that goes down, especially when it has to do with money. And we got to remember, we're a capitalist society. Should we drink to that? I don't know, but I think I might take a drink to that. Okay, so I have another question for you guys before I dig into this. I was wondering, what made you consider a GLP-1 in the first place? What made you just consider a GLP-1? Was it the weight loss of it all? Was it the overall health journey? When I say the difference between a health journey and a weight loss journey is a health journey, you're worried about not just your weight, right? You're worried about, and I shouldn't say worry, but you're concerned. You want to, a shift. You're concerned in your longevity, how long you're going to live on this earth and be, able to move and, and live a productive life, not just, where you're confined to, the couch, right? Because some of us, I know we know people who are in nursing homes or older people that just, can't really get up and can't move, and they want to, right? But because of their lifestyle choices, they're led to the point where they can't. And so a lot of people now, we're living longer. Technology is making it so we live longer. And, the benefit of scientists and medication, we're experiencing that. So that's a health journey to me. Health journey is, longevity and having a long lifespan where you're up, you're moving, at 80 years old, you're still able to take a nice stroll, walk up a hill even, lift weights, do all those things. And not what we thought we saw an 80-year-old looking like when we were growing up, right? That's just kind of slow and can't really move. And, even if you're sitting down, I know some 80-year-olds that can't even lift their arm up, because they have aches and pains and things going on, inflammation. So yeah, so I just wanted to say the difference, I think, between a health journey and a weight loss journey. So that's what we mean by health journey, weight loss. diabetes, that's what got me taking Mounjaro. And if you're just trying to maintain what you have, if you have met your goal and you're just trying to maintain with these medications, like, so what was your ultimate goal? What were you guys looking for when you started your GLP-1 journey? I'm just curious to know. Okay, so Sweet Bee said, in my 30s, I started learning journey, I started my learning journey, lost more than 50%, and kept it off over 10 years. In perimenopause, gained 60 pounds almost overnight, and none of my previous health habits worked anymore. That is so important to say, because I experienced the same thing, but I always used to get stuck. I will say, I used to do the Weight Watchers. I love Weight Watchers. I'm going to give a drink to Weight Watchers. I know people give Weight Watchers a bad name and all that, because now we know obesity is the disease. But I think people do, you do what you can with the knowledge you have at the time. And once you learn, you learn more, once you know more, you just do better, right? You got to do better with the knowledge you have. So I feel like Weight Watchers is trying to do that, but they also are a company, right? Companies their goal is to make money, which is same with, Lilly and Novo and these compounding pharmacies. So let's be clear. They all want to make money, not just, the big pharmaceutical companies. So everybody's in it to make money. And when we think about it from that perspective, we got to think like, okay, we're thinking about it like the goal is for a company is to make money. So how are we going to move now that we know that, what are we going to do? So let me just say, this is what the FDA said. Okay, Mail to the B. She's saying definitely overall health focus for you back in 2024. You were dealing with, here's that menopause, perimenopause, menopausal hormone shifts, couldn't beat it. So I reintroduced estradiol. Again, testosterone, plus I needed to lose 35-ish pounds. Okay, very good, very good. Teddy D, how are you? He says, originally weight loss, but everything changed to become more of a health journey. And Teddy, I'm glad you said that, because I think a lot of people felt that same way, right? They started off to lose weight, right? And then it became a health journey. And same thing, I guess for me, I think I started off to lose weight, but really I started off to get healthy, my A1C, and weight contributed to all that. Weight is kind of like the underlining, the vehicle for all these, comorbidities that we have, right? It's that overweight, being obese, being, big. And so that kind of, that makes everything, once you start to lose the weight, other things start to happen. And once you can see that weight coming off, Teddy, don't you feel like once you knew that this was working, you were like, gosh, I'm on my way to being healthy, not just losing weight? Because I think before I've lost weight and I didn't feel healthy, but now I feel healthy. And I think it's because I'm making healthier choices and I'm more conscious of it. I think that's what it is. So let's get into the FDA of it all. So let me take this down for a second. Okay. All right. So this is what the FDA said. So, the FDA, this is what they first said about compounded semaglutide. Some people might call it semaglutide, semaglutide. But, if you're taking compounded semaglutide, it's a version of Ozempic and Wegovy. It's the most popular one on the market, probably because it's been out longer. It's often sold cheaper online. And I'm going to tell you, how they call it the Ozempic phase? When I get these little, on my phone, I get so many different advertisements. If I ever go into Facebook, I'm only on Facebook looking at retirement things, and other things pop up. And when I'm on Facebook or at Instagram or just on my feed, everything is about Ozempic. I don't really see a lot of Mounjaro, Zepbound, even though I'm saying Mounjaro. Google, how you say something and then it pops up in your feed. So it's this is like the first. And so a lot of people, know about this Ozempic, semaglutide, semaglutide, right? The FDA is concerned. They are concerned that some versions, and it's been tested, random tested. Now, who tested this? I guess they've been doing sporadic tests. Like if I am a food critic and I come up in your restaurant, you don't know I'm the food critic. I'm tasting your food and I'm giving you a grade. So it's kind of like that. Like they've, been, out here testing folks. And, when Novo or Lilly does it, it seems more skewed, right? Because they're actually testing it. But if you have an independent tester and they're going out and they said they found salts that are in their ingredients of the semaglutide, and it's not the same drugs. They say some are even fake or mislabeled. And I know this has led people to the emergency room. So I know that's a concern. Now, I'm sure they have batches and compounding pharmacies and companies that aren't, doing things like that. But unfortunately, we have those ones that get on there, they see a good thing and they want to make their money. And, they produce this fake semaglutide. So you got to be careful, watch out for that. So a compounded tirzepatide, it's, we got, most of you guys know it's a version of Mounjaro Zepbound. That's the active ingredient in there. It's huge, right? Because it has produced this great weight loss that semaglutide has not. So it's head to head in a competition. It's like the Muhammad Ali of the GLP-1s right now. Now, I say right now because we don't know what's on the horizon. But the FDA's concern, now this was a recent concern that they put out. Lilly put this letter out saying like, oh, we've independently tested, different compound pharmacies, and we see that you're putting that vitamin B12. And they say that it has impurities in there. And they say that people have been having bad reactions and it's causing ER visits. And one of the main things is people are saying that, this is perfectly okay to, add this in here and you're fine, right? You could just add it in and, it's not going to, mess up the active ingredient. But nobody has really tested it to my knowledge to know, right? So they're telling you it's safe to put that in there. For me, I just got my own B12. Here's the B12 I use. Can you guys see that? This is my B12. I just give this baby a shake up and a squirt. There I am. It's supposed to get you, B12 is supposed to give you that little boost of energy, right? That you might need. So yeah, so they're putting some sort of, B12, which they had to do, right, to add something. But the FDA is saying, no, you can't just add B12 and say that now, that's specialized for you. Because guess what? Anybody like the Downsizing Diva, I just showed you. Now, I didn't go buy this for today. I've already been using this. This is on my list of, I was looking, it expires this month. I got to get me some more. But that's on my list of, supplements that I take. So I think B12 is great, but, I don't know. Mixed with tirzepatide, they're saying, no, it's people aren't doing the right thing with that. So I don't know. You have to check out, your compounded pharmacy and see what they say. So they are saying that people are getting, when they're, going to purchase this tirzepatide at the compound pharmacies, they're getting GLP-1 plus B12, or they're getting GLP-1 and other additives. And they say that people are calling this like fat burner blends. They're saying, this is going to help boost your weight loss. Now, I know people have been taking a combination of things. Like I hear about these lipo shots. I don't still even know what that is. I have not taken any of that. I've never taken a fat burner ever in my life. That's probably why I've been fat for so I don't take fat burners. I'm not a big medication person. I'm taking Mounjaro and I'm sticking to that. That's the only thing I take besides all these supplements. And I take a lot of supplements. But so I take the supplements, they're in pill form, and I take Mounjaro. So what do you guys think? The people who have B12 in theirs, now if you lost weight and got to your goal, you're probably like, yeah, give me some B12. I'm good. But they're saying like it's not ideal, and you shouldn't be putting that in there. That's not, and advertising it as if it's like a Lilly, this is close to Lilly. They're saying no, this is not close to Lilly because you're adding these additives to our, ingredient, which is tirzepatide. So I don't know. What do you guys think about these? The biggest concern from the FDA with this is it's not studied. Nobody has studied how B12 works with, your compounded tirzepatide. So that's the biggest thing. They're saying nobody has studied how these ingredients work, and nobody has, pulled together folks and really documented their journey. Now, you might be one of those people. If you're one of those people out there, What do you think about that? Have you guys, experienced that? If you're taking a compound, is yours mixed with B12? How is that going for you? So some are using this to bypass the rule. And the rule is there aren't any more shortages with the medication. You need to stop producing this. And I'm going to tell you some of the red flags. So the FDA said that some of the red flags with these compounds are, now, if you're at a good compound pharmacy, I always hear about Fridays. I hear about Hallandale. I hear about some of these ones that have been around for a long time, and then they, started this. Now, that's to me a little bit different than some companies that just pop up. Like, I'm going to do a DD's compound because I see the need, and I'm coming in, and I'm coming in, and I'm going to go hard. So we know a lot of companies have just popped up. And those are the ones I think I hear a lot about, where people are saying like, oh, I tried their batch and it didn't work. I've heard some content creators who have been on branded, and then they were on compound medication first, and then they switched over to branded once, Lilly put out those, what do you call those? You pay out of pocket in the little vials, and they said it works different. So I don't know. I'm sure everybody's experience is different, but somebody like my girl, Miss V, she lost all her weight and she's on maintenance. She's probably like, it worked for me. So I just think we're all different with this, compound experience. But, this is what the FDA is saying. They're saying if it's a red flag, if a compound company says to you, this is the same as Ozempic or Mounjaro or Zepbound or Wegovy, they're saying it is not the same. So if somebody is advertising to you that it is the same, that is not true. They said the companies cannot claim it's the same because it is not what? FDA approved or tested. Now, I'm going to tell you, when you take supplements, so like this is my fave supplement of choice. Here it is. I love this magnesium. I'm taking some Mag-O 7, and I haven't really needed the Mag-O 7, but it's there. I take my psyllium husk. So I can just go on and on about these supplements I'm taking. I take something, that, what's it called? QO10, CQ10 or whatever. I take that. I take black seed oil. So I'm taking some supplements, honey. I'm taking them. And supplements aren't necessarily FDA approved either. So what do we think about that? And this is why, now the reason why I take this brand, so some brands I don't mess around with. I'm just going to tell you. This is my brand of choice, Garden of Life. Most of my supplements, here's the Garden of Life. Most of my stuff, they cost more, but honey, for something that has a great reputation, I'm willing to spend the money. So I mess around with the Garden of Life because they just have a great reputation. Things are organic for what we know. So if you're a vegan, vegetarian, that it probably appeals to you as well. A lot of things are plant-based, so I love that. This pure encapsulations, I take this because I went to a holistic doctor, and my insurance doesn't cover it. I need to go back to her. $300 a pop just to go, right? So I go at least once or twice a year to this holistic doctor. And when I went to the holistic doctor, she, said, I'm going to recommend these vitamins. She said, but we sell them here. She does also those IV infusions. I've never got one of those. Like I call it the cocktail, the revamped cocktail. It was people coming in to do those, well-to-do folks too, coming in to get those. I've never had that, but she was telling me that these vitamins are great. And she said, we sell them here. She says, but I'm going to tell you, I'm not trying to get you to buy it. She's like, you could get them cheaper on Amazon. And she said, and if you get a subscription to Amazon, you could even get them even cheaper. So they come to your house every 90 days or whatever. So that made me feel good because she had them all in a case, beautiful case, lit up. I could have bought them there, but she told me, no, it's much cheaper on Amazon. She said, I just want you to have the quality. I'm not so worried about selling it to you because there are people who come in here, some of our older clients. She said, they don't use the internet. They don't go online. She said, so I got plenty of people buying them in-house, honey. You don't have to buy them in-house. So I just love that. So that's why that brand, I kind of trust because I've heard it from a holistic doctor. And this doctor, she became a holistic doctor because her son was autistic. Now that's a whole nother topic where she believed that these, a lot of the things we're doing and some of these heavy metals and all that contributed to her son's autism. And she worked for the hospital. She worked for the local hospital, and she just did not like how they were doing business. She didn't like how they were taking care of her son. She did some research on it. She opened up her own practice, and now she is doing it and doing it and doing it well. So I say that to say every supplement is not created equal, and every compound pharmacy, I'm sure, is not created equal. But that's also something that people could sell, right? And they're not necessarily fact checked by the FDA. So when people start saying, well, it's not safe, it's not just these compounds, I guess is my point, that's not safe. So you got to do your due diligence when you're out here taking a medication that you're putting in your body. Let's see. You know what? Positive T. I don't know enough about NAD to know. Yeah, I hear that's the thing. I'm not, I know when people hear things, they jump on the bandwagon and all of that. Or, it sounds great. And they're like, oh, I'm going to try that. Again, I'm not so quick to try it. Now, I had this company, I think it's called Ivy. You guys know that Ivy compounded. Are they a compounded pharmacy? They hit me up in my DMs about promoting the NAD. And I don't know, it was an injectable. I'm not injecting a whole lot in my body. Like, I'm good with just this Mounjaro. Now, I think you could take pills and stuff like that. So I haven't researched it enough, Positive T. So once I'm, in the summer on my vacation, I'll have time to kind of look into it. But yeah, so I could have got some free NAD, injected it and everything. Now, why aren't they putting this NAD if it's so great? How come they're not putting that in the compounded tirzepatide, or are they? I don't know. I don't know too much about it. So yeah, so I hope I answered your question, because that's really what it is. Let's see. Okay, so wait. So the boss lady, I get a monthly B12 injection that I think I'm going to quit. You are supposed to feel energy, but I don't. So it's pointless to keep taking these painful shots. Absolutely. If you're not feeling any benefits from it, I would agree with that. You like Garden of Life too? Yes. You take their probiotics. Okay, very good. Yes. I used to take a probiotic. I take so many supplements. I should have brought up if my daughter feels like going to get it, I'll have her go get it. I need to fill my my supplement case. So I had to buy one. I had to get one of those big ones because I had so many supplements to take. The one thing though about the Garden of Life, they have a good multivitamin. I should have brought that up. But you got to take 4 of those babies. 4. So you got to, if you are one of those people, I think that's why, honestly, I ended up getting diabetes. I thought it's never going to happen to me. I'm just going to be hanging on that pre-diabetic edge for so long. And I think that's one of the things. First of all, I got over that 300 pounds. And then I think the thing that saved me from getting to diabetes faster, honestly, I'm going to say, is these supplements and drinking my water. Let me take a drink right now. Yes. So the supplements of it all and drinking water is what I think delayed me from getting type 2 diabetes, because I was on that pre-diabetic. I was hanging out in that area for so long, and I just never thought I was going to get it. But what are you going to do? So I want somebody out there though, what do you think about these supplements and not being regulated by the FDA? And because if I was a compounded person who was somebody taking compounds and people were criticizing, you always got to have a comeback. That would be my comeback. But I'm telling you what mine is. Mine is, I'm taking quality supplements from long-standing companies, right? They didn't just pop up yesterday and say, hey, from a holistic doctor. And I trust this lady that I'm going to say, somebody who is passionate, somebody who starts something that's passionate about something. And usually it's something that happens to our family with her autistic son. And I just see how she moves and operates. And, most people that go to her, probably can afford to, buy the building she's in. I'm just barely, you see, I can only go to her once or twice a year because my insurance doesn't cover it at all. It's 300. It might be more expensive. I'm going to let you know if it's more expensive. But it was 300 a pop to go to her every time I go. $300 cash out the pocket or however you pay. But yeah, my insurance did not cover it. So we tried it just to see if it would go through, and she told me it wouldn't, and it didn't. But anyway, so if I do something that's not FDA regulated, it's vetted. In my mind, it's vetted. But meanwhile, we're eating all kind of, stuff out here that we don't know if it's vetted. So, I mean, again, I'm just here to present both sides. I mean, I think everybody should have access. I do lead with safety first. So, red flag number 2 is the FDA says these cheap, super cheap prices, $100 to $300 a month. But if a medication is like $1,500 and you could get it at a cheaper price for $100 to $300, it seems like a bargain. It's a bargain, baby. Who's not going to do that? And I mean, it sounds good, but now some people I know will say, now, are you saying this about your meds though? Because some people I know will say, I'm not getting that. It's too cheap. If it's that cheap, I don't want it. Are we saying that about the medication? So that's what I want to know. So I'm going to ask you guys, I want you to be honest. If you had to take any medication, let's just not say it's compound, it could be something. I want to know, would you take something cheaper if it might not be exactly the same? Would you? Because, yeah, would you do that? Oh, no. So I'm going to tell you this story. So remember a long time ago, and I don't know how long it was, maybe it was a year or so ago, but remember when Eli Lilly first dropped those prices? I'm sorry, Lilly. I'm calling you Eli Lilly because I'm just used to that. So when Lilly first dropped those prices, I'll never forget. I can't remember if this was August of 2024. It might have been of 2025. I could be wrong. You guys that are following this more than me know. And I should be following it, right? Because I own their stock. So shout out to them. But so I was, people were talking about Eli Lilly and Novo, but more so Eli Lilly because their prices were sky high. You had that coupon. The coupon, you were still paying the car note, $650. For some people, that's 2 car notes, but for us that like to drive in style, that's a car note. So people are paying this money for the for this medication, and people are like compounds, and then the compound pharmacies drop their prices, and I didn't hear the outrage. Now, how is it if they're doing it from the goodness of their heart, how all of a sudden they could drop their prices like that? So that just first of all, I already knew it, but that just confirmed for me these compounding pharmacies are also overcharging folks. They really are, because all of a sudden there was a sale. Remember, people were stocking up. Now, it's a content creator. I know she's stocked up. It's all up and through her videos. And she's not in here, so I'm not going to say her name because maybe she doesn't want that on her radar. But, and it was, I probably would have done the same thing. So people were stocking up. Some of you guys have stock from a year ago. Now you better check those expiration dates, but they were dropping prices. So my thing is, if Eli Lilly is charging $1,500 and then they go down to $650 and they call that a discount, right? And that, like I say, that's a good car note for a luxury car, probably way more than that, but it's in that ballpark. And so if you're paying for that, and then so let's say your compounded medication was $250. Now they dropped down to we got a $199 special. How come they weren't charging you the $199 all the time? So that's what I'm saying. It is they love us, they don't. Let's just think about this as this is all capitalism. It really is. Now, are the compounding pharmacies a lifesaver? Yes, because everybody, know somebody probably that's allergic to some kind of concoction, right? And compound pharmacies are great. They've been around for, years and years and decades. They come in and swoop in and save the day. So if my little lady, needed to take a certain ingredient and she was allergic to whatever is in the regular medication, the compounding pharmacy can, add some things or delete some things or cook up some things, right? The chemist of it all, to make it where now my little lady can take this medication. I mean, amazing, amazing, amazing. Let's give credit to God, because God is good, right? When things are, he has made it so that people can, figure this out. So compounding pharmacies, they should not go away. Now, this medication is another story when you talk about, are we really customizing it, right? I guess that's the concern. Are we customizing it, and are we doing it at the expense of money and in exchange for somebody's safety? So I want to know, would you take something cheaper if it might not be exactly the same? And I'm going to tell you, I would take something cheaper if it wasn't exactly the same, but some kind of way I'm going to vet it. I'm going to have to vet it. So I might, if I had to go to compounds, I'm going to be on all these channels where they're doing compounds. I'm going to be listening to what they're saying, seeing what they're doing, seeing how they're doing it. And I don't know if I'll be on a content creators necessarily like that, but I'm going to be all up in these doctors. They got a lot of doctors on YouTube now. Are doctors really making money? Because why are they on YouTube? Are they getting sued? Do they got that malpractice lawsuit going on and they got to get on YouTube? What is up with that? So many doctors are on YouTube. And I love that though, because it's free information, right? It's not costing you anything to watch it. And they're on there, they're giving out the information. I'm sure it's helping build up their practice. Again, everything is somebody trying to get a bottom line. These doctors, I'm telling you, they are on here for a reason too. It's not because they're just fabulous and they want to help folks. That probably is a part of it, but it's never the whole story, because it's a lot of work on YouTube. I'm going to tell you, first of all, how are you a doctor and you're on YouTube? It's a lot of work. Okay, so that was red flag number 2. Super cheap prices. Why? We love a good sale and discount, but it says sometimes the lower the price, the lower the quality. The ingredients may not be quality. So this is why it's important to vet. It could be imported from an unregulated source. Now, people always remember when I talk, Darium, how are you? Darium is up in here, and I remember he was laughing at my Temu, saying, "You're not a Temu girl." Well, what if your tirzepatide is coming from Temu land? Now what? People always talk about China, but do we care if they're giving us some cheap tirzepatide or semaglutide? Do we care? So, I mean, people, you got to ask yourself. So it's a lot of times when people are critical of one thing, it's always another way to look at stuff. So I kind of, like to look at things both ways. So if I had to be on compounded medication, and I may, who knows? I never say never. That's why I don't criticize folks, because I never know what I might need to do. But I would be vetting it out. I just wouldn't be taking any tirzepatide. Just like I say, all things are not created equal. All supplements are not created equal. And yeah, you could go and get your CVS supplements with their name brand, honey. No way, Jose. I don't trust it. I don't. That's just me. I just don't. And I know that's allegedly. Now they say they make some good, vitamins and supplements, the Walgreens, the CVS brand of it all. But I'm going with some vetted companies where I know somebody has told me that I trust. That's a doctor. That my doctor friend even tells me what supplements are known to be good and which ones are in the doctor sphere out there where they say, honey, don't take that. Now, if your money, it can only afford certain types, because I mean, some of these things are expensive, right? If you can only afford certain things, go with that. I think that is better than not doing a thing, especially when we know we're not getting these fruits and veggies in. Take that multivitamin, and it is what it is. So that brings me to red flag number 3 from the FDA, which says, be careful of these online telehealth ads. They say they're actively going after these. They say over 30 companies. Now, was your company in on this? You better look that up. Over 30 companies warned in 2026. What about that? Over 100 plus warnings were given before that. But again, this reminds me of like the book, The Big Bad Wolf. I'm going to huff and puff and blow your house down. But my question is, when? These compound pharmacies have gotten so, what's the word I'm looking for? They've gotten so arrogant. They're like, I dare you. I dare you. I feel like they're in the I dare you phase where they're like, honey, come on and do what you got to do because we're still making these meds. And, the FDA is saying if something is customized, right? So let's just say if you're customizing something to my waist, my hips, my, whole situation I got going over here, can somebody else just wear it? No, because it's customized for me. Have you guys ever had something sewn and customized, made for your body? Yeah, I mean, somebody could come around and look like you, look like the same shape, but honey, they can't fit it. Because it's sewn together for you. It's customized for you. So it reminds me of my prom dress. That baby was customized to me. You could look at somebody and see that they might have looked like me, but they couldn't get in that. That was customized to me. So if they're customizing things, is it really, they're saying you can't do that in mass. So I don't know. Is that true or not? So just got to be careful. Research those compounding pharmacies. That's what I'm going to tell you. But I'm just saying, FDA, they keep coming out with these threats and they haven't really followed through with doing a lot from what I can see. Now, if I'm wrong, let me know in the chat because I'm not out there like that. I don't know. I don't hear the breaking news every second it breaks. And then I wouldn't probably come on here with the breaking news of it all because then you'd have to retract when you found out that breaking news wasn't really the breaking news. So I don't know. All right. So red flag number 4, no prescription needed vibe. So if somebody's telling you you don't need a prescription, they say that's a huge danger zone, a huge danger. And can't you see some younger kids getting into that, thinking they have issues with the weight, they're being called fat, chunky, whatever it is. I know this kids can be cruel, and even when I say kids, I mean like teenagers and all of that. They were cruel when I was growing up, so I know it's worse now. So they're saying if somebody is telling you you don't need a prescription, that's a red flag, because I think that's one of the things that you should be looking out for when you go to a compounding pharmacy. Look up the history of that company. Look up if they have violations. If so, how many? When did they get them? Did it just start around these compound pharmacies? Do their violations go back years and years? Do they have a clean record? Is it possible to have a clean record when you're a compounding pharmacy? Things like that I would be questioning. Am I having access to a doctor? I would say if I can't get access to a doctor, then I'm out. I'm out. And I don't want access to a doctor like, oh, you got 2 hours for the month. I don't know if that's how they operate, but I have to make an appointment with my doctor right now. I just can't walk in there and see her. But guess what? I could text her. I could go online and email her at any point that I need to. So to me, that's important. So if your compounding telehealth company doesn't do that, I would just say look into why, because that you should have access to a doctor, especially if you're paying a fee for it. And I'm not going to name companies and name names because I don't know enough about it. I just said the 2 that I know have a history of compounding. Some of these newer ones, I don't really know. I hear they're paying a lot for ads though. Geez, Louise, remember the Super Bowl? Geez, Louise. And then I was one of these compounded pharmacies. I was going to buy their stock, and then they had a scandal. And I'm like, I'm so glad I did. Now the stock has dropped down, and I probably should have got in, bought some quick stock, sold it real quick, and made some quick money because it went back up, but not to the level it was before. So, just wait till I retire. I'm gonna be on this stuff. I'm gonna know what's going on. My coffee's getting warm. I'm not a coffee drinker, so it still tastes good to me. I'm not a coffee drinker like one of those coffee nistas, I call them. Like they know all the ins and outs about the coffee. I'm not that. So, okay, so that was red flag number 4. Okay, so they say this is the FDA. They say that it's a huge danger zone if you don't need a prescription. Fake pharmacy names, fake labels. Jesus, the label when you open up your medication, is the label, the ink running off into your hands. Like, what is going on? And it's not even a real GLP-1. It's not even a real GLP-1. So that's the thing. Mail to the B, she mentioned this in her interview. You want to go check out our interview. It's a really good interview. And Mel talked about one of the concerns she had. And Mel, you could feel free to, correct me in the chat. But one of the concerns is you don't necessarily know where you're getting your tirzepatide from with some of these compounding pharmacies. Like, and that's what the FDA says, and that's what, um, we know some of these companies who just threw up compounding situation so they could, help with this, fill this void. And it was great. But at this point, I think we all know at this point, we expect better. So if you're out there and you're a compounding pharmacy and you're filling the needs of the people, because we got, don't you see people who you say, heck, I wish I could just hook them on to the GLP-1. And I heard somebody, not for, this is not Downsizing Diva. So let me just say that. But I heard somebody say not too long ago, like, don't people know it's GLP-1s out there? There's no excuse to be fat now. Somebody said that it was a celebrity podcaster. Should I say their name? But they were like, there's no excuse to be fat now because everybody has access to these GLP-1s. Well, that's not true. You got to think some people can't, especially with these high inflation prices. Some people can't even afford the $100 to $200 extra a month on top of everything else you're doing. So let's not assume that, everybody can afford even the compounding medications, because that's not true. But I will say I have seen people and thought, dang, I wish I could let them know about the compound tirzepatide. So that's why that Froggy, or Forglipron, I call it Froggy. That's why that is so I think it's going to be a game changer, right? For people who, need something a little bit more affordable. And on top of that, there's no restrictions, because remember, I'm somebody who took Rybelsus, the pill, and it's the Ozempic in a pill. And it was restrictions on when to take it. And, you had to drink this much water. And and if you did not, trust me, you would, because that your stomach is going to let you know that you did not follow the dosing requirements. So this medication, this or Forglipron, doesn't have those parameters and restrictions. So that's going to be a game changer for people. And I just hope that could even be cheaper. Now, if you got good insurance, or even if you have the worst insurance and they decided this is important, we got so many people that we're trying to get healthy, we're going to reduce the price of this medication. You could probably get those pills for $25. I think I was paying not even $25 for that Rybelsus. I should go get that Rybelsus. I used to keep it out here. I don't want my daughter to hold it. I used to keep it in my office so I could show it. But yeah, so I still have my Rybelsus. I didn't take, like, they're expired. I couldn't take them now anyway. But yeah, so it's just a thing. Let's see. Okay, so did Mel correct me? Mel, did I say that accurately? Because I don't like to quote and say things that people say unless I got the facts of it all. Okay, so that's red flag number 4. Now here's red flag number 5. This is my last red flag. Then I'm going to go up in this chat and see what you guys are saying. This is the where the discussion comes in, and where you could go either way. The red flag number 5 from the FDA says that, these GLP-1s are still being sold even after the shortages have ended. They say this is huge, because you are, if you're getting, medication from these compounded pharmacies, you should not be, because they're not supposed to be selling it. So it says that this is the FDA. Now I'm going to say allegedly, but I'm reading from their stuff. She says she's deep in this chat. Okay. All right. I love it. I love that you guys are deep in the chat. Okay. Very good. All right. So, compounding is only allowed during shortages, is what the FDA is saying. Now, this is not Downsizing Diva, so don't take a clip of my stuff and replay it and saying I'm saying this, because I'm just telling you what the FDA said. Now that the supply is improving, the FDA says it must stop. It must stop. That's what the FDA is saying. It must stop. So, what do you guys think about that? The FDA says it must stop. What do you guys, how do you really feel about that? What do you guys think? Now, I'm just going to tell you, I say, if you're getting your medication and they could customize it for you in a way that's not just adding that B12, right? Especially if you're somebody with not even obese, right? You could be overweight. You could be, and I don't know, I'm sure it's possible to have PCOS and, perimenopause and menopause symptoms and irregulated hormones and everything you got going on. some people, I don't think people realize some people are on this medication, not just for the weight loss of it all. Like weight loss for me is a side effect, a great one, right? But it's the side effect. This was not my initial, the reason why I was introduced. If that's the case, they probably would have introduced it to me 10 years ago. And I didn't have diabetes 10 years ago. It's relatively new in these last couple of years when I started taking Mounjaro. So I say, if somebody has, if there's a way you could get it customized so that you can take it and you know it's from a safe source, then I would go for it. I'm telling you, I'm saying this now. You know, if there's some kind of way something happened and I couldn't get it, I'm not on here saying I would never take compounding, because I never say never. I don't want to be one of these people that you got to run my video saying she said she would never take it. Now she's doing it. No, and if people have said that, I think that's okay. I think that's one of the great things. And you guys know I say a lady has a right to change her mind, but anybody has a right to change their mind. I have just learned that I don't say never. I used to say I would never do this, never do that, never do this. Well, I got so sick of hearing myself backtrack. So I don't say never. I don't say never. And I just say I'm going to go where God leads me to go. You guys know I don't like taking medication. So Mounjaro is the only medication I take that's prescribed where I have to take it. That's it. That's all. Before Mounjaro, the only other thing I took before that was, birth control. And that was really to kind of regulate my cycles. I was having heavy cycles, which is a whole nother discussion. So I'm not a big person who takes medication, and I will take a good supplement. So if you know some good supplements out there, let me know. But I get recommendations from doctors. I'm, lucky, blessed, I will say, to have a doctor friend, a plastic surgeon. So I might have him back on here. I might replay his video, and so you guys can see it. But I'll have him back. It's the summertime. I know folks want to get snatched up in here. But so, I'm not one to just take something because it's cheap or it looks good, or, some celebrity said take it. No. I got to vet it myself. Mel and Bellflower, told me about this, their skincare routines, and, not for nothing, even coming from them, they both look good, but I still researched it. I still, researched it and ended up going with a mixture of things, right? Because I always want to get what I think is going to work for me, but I don't ever go blindly on anybody's recommendation, even for a friend. So if you're telling me I got this friend, she's so cool, I got to check her out myself. Or he. So, so I think that's how you got to operate. And I'm going to tell you guys, if I were somebody that had to take a compound or felt like that was the option I had to go, you better believe I'm going to have all kind of research. I'm not going off of what the latest YouTube person says. I'm not doing that. That's their experience. That's their situation. I'm going to go off of what I researched myself. And I think a lot of times we don't do that, right? Because it's easier just to have somebody tell you. But I'm going to tell you, if you're injecting something into your body, you don't have too little time to do research on it. So what if somebody else researched it? You research it for yourself. And if you don't want to research it, hit up the Downsizing Diva. I don't know if Mel or Bellflower is listening, but can somebody put my email address in there? Because I really want people to, be armed with information. I think that's one of the best things we can do is be armed with information. And I think everybody should have access. I do believe in safety, though. And I'm telling you, if I had to take it, I want it to be safe. And I'm not going off of, again, I love the content creators. There's some content creators that's put fabulous things out about these compounds, right? Some detailed, factual information. But guess what? That's their research. Maybe they were looking for certain things that might be different for you. So I would say, look for that. The number one thing is, for me, with the compound pharmacy, is their violations, their history, how long they've been around. What were they doing before the GLP-1? I don't think people really think about that. What were they doing before they started with this GLP-1? That is going to tell you a lot about the motivation. And if somebody started because they saw, like, gosh, this is a great opportunity to help people, shout out to you. And this is a great opportunity to help people and make money. Shout out to those compound pharmacies that really started because of that. But we know there are going to be some shady ones out there that just started because they saw this was a great way to make money, and which is a capitalist society. I can't even blame them, for doing that. But I do blame them if it's not safe. If it's not safe, I do blame them. So I would be looking for those things, and I would be looking for, can I access a doctor? I think that's so underrated. You know, people have insurance out there. They don't go and they don't use it. They don't get pre-screening. You know, they don't, to me, preventative care is where it's at. Preventative care. That means you're doing things before it even you see a problem. And sometimes, you know, and I know, especially, I just told a guy this. Who was I talking to? But I told a guy, I don't know who I was talking to, but this guy was saying, oh, the banker. I went to the bank with my dad, and then we were talking to the banker, and he was saying how he was about a portfolio type of situation. And he was saying how he's getting married. I said, smart guy. He said, why do you say that? I said, because you're going to live longer. He said, what? I said, yeah, research has shown that men who get married live longer. I said, that's because women are on your behind to go to the doctor, to do that preventative care, to make sure you're around, because you are the king of that castle, hopefully. And he said, you know what? He said, my fiance is on me about going to the doctor, going to my appointments. And I would say vice versa, right? There's some men who are on women too, who don't really want to go to the doctor, but that is a fact. Now, Google that. That is a fact. So that preventative care is everything. And people have insurance, and not for nothing. I'm sure some of you have insurance. You got that therapy, free therapy on your insurance. A lot of companies give so many hours where you could get the therapy, and it replenishes every year. Some of you go and get that. Go and talk to somebody. You know, I just say take great care of yourself. I say that on every video, and I actually mean it. And I, you know, have to remind myself. It's a great reminder for myself as well to take care of myself. And that doesn't mean I'm going to make the best choice every single day. But one thing I'm not going to do is inject something into my body, and I don't know where it is coming from, as much as I can know. Now, can we know everything? No. But some of you saw, you know, I know some of you went on these YouTube videos and thought, oh my God, I'm going to just think of a name, Dakota. Dakota said, this is a great compounding pharmacy. I'm going to order from her. And I've said that too. Like, if there's a certain compound company, I might look at what this lady was doing, certain content creator. But guess what? I'm going to do my own research, because her experience is her experience. And maybe we have different things that is important to us, you know, so who knows? So I'm just saying, do your due diligence, do your research. That's it. That's all. So is the Downsizing Diva against compounding? I'm against access to this medication for everybody. You know, I'm against being unsafe. I'm against, you know, doing things, being deceptive, and being predators against the young folks. Now, other than that, you know, I just say, make it customizable. Customize it. If they say put B12, now they're not putting this B12. I hope they're not putting this B12, because I'm going to give you the Amazon link. You can get this, baby. I didn't spray some, took my B12 for the day. But, you know, if make sure it's customized so that it is something that you're going to benefit from. I saw some people in this chat was saying the B12 didn't work for them, or shot. I don't know if it was separate from this. Somebody brought up the NAD injections. You know, again, I would have to research that. I'm not going to go get some NAD because I saw a couple content creators saying it was a great thing. Now, it might work for you and your genes. It might not work for me and my genes. What I got going on, I don't know. But I know that company, Ivy. Shout out to Ivy. They reached out, and I said, you know, I think I'm going to go back and look at that. So live healthy life. Hey, I just saw that. You know, you look like this lady. I know, her name is Fran. How are you? This better not be Fran. Let me put you up here. You look like this lady I know named Fran. Oh my gosh, so sweet. So she said, this is I'm off compounds. I think I said enough about the compounds of it all as far for right now. My own statement, right? So don't come clipping up my video saying Downsizing Divas against compounds and all that. I am not. I'm against unsafe compounds, which you guys should be too. I'm against, you know, predatory things. Like my daughter watches, you know, YouTube sometimes, and she's better be on the ones that's appropriate for kids, right? She's watching Mila, this girl Mila, Jordan, what's her name? Jordan somebody. Her dad used to be a professional player. They have these, you know, pranks and jokes with their dad. So she's supposed to be watching that. But sometimes I've seen her watching things on our TV, And these ads pop up for tirzepatide and semaglutide, and I'm like, why is this on a kid's channel? Now that you guys might be saying that Jordan Matter, she's older now, but guess what? She had videos when she was younger too, and she's one of those kids that has grown up on camera. So I'm saying these are ads that are out for, my daughter is seeing these ads. So you guys might be saying, well, you got to regulate. Well, that's a kid's channel. If you guys are on YouTube, even YouTube kids don't stick to YouTube kids. These compounding pharmacies, these commercials have found a way to get to the young ones. I'm telling you, I see it. I experience it with my own daughter. And you think you're having them watching a great something or another. You think you have these filters on. Like if she goes off now on her tablet, it's, I got to tighten that up a little bit better now because she's clever, right? She's finding a way to get around stuff. But on her computer, she hasn't found a way to get around that. So if she tries to go on something, it's notifying me. 1 second. Hold on. Little lady, why are you in here blowing your nose? Hold on. That's her. She said, this is why your kids got to listen. I told her, honey, this is Ohio. The weather is unpredictable. I say, don't go and just wear shorts and skirts. And I said, you know what? This is going to be a learning experience for her because I'm at home on spring break too. If she's sick, I'm at home with her. But it's like, listen to your mom because guess what? I know what I'm talking about. Because of the cookie dough. Because I ate that. Yeah, you hand me my purse. I think I'm getting some chapped lips, and I don't like chapped lips. Where's your purse? Okay, so let me go up in this chat. My daughter, she came in here saying she needs some ginger ale. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, ginger ale. Okay. All right. So, geez, Louise. All right. Maybe I'll put on something tinted that's supposed to last on your lips. How about that? I can't even find it. Jeez, Louise. Okay. So, what are you saying? I thought Woody. Is your name Woody? No, Wood Kirky. How are you? The FDA does not. Yes, they monitor for misbranding products. The manufacturer. Yes, exactly. So you just confirmed what I was saying. And guess what? That's why I don't all supplements are not created the same. So that's why I got to go with somebody I trust, somebody in the medical field. Now they might not know either, but guess what? That's better than just, going with companies that I don't know. All right, so I'm going to put this on. Sorry, guys. My lips, I do not like a chapped lip. This is supposed to be a moisturizing for your lips, but it has a little tint to it. Okay. All right. Very good. All right. So yeah. So and, supplements are not. So yeah. So that's the thing too. So the compounding pharmacy folks, I like to always have a good rebuttal. I wonder if I could join a debate club at 53. Do you think they have them? Does Toastmasters have a debate club? Because when if I were taking compounds and somebody hit me with it's not regulated, I would come back with, no, neither are supplements, but are you taking those? So there's that. Let's see. Okay, so Darium says, unfortunately, Darium, you're looking fabulous and you're suited and booted up. Unfortunately, so many agencies like the FDA were impacted by Doge, and their workforce was gutted. I don't know who's doing all that extra work. And you know what? That's a good point, because maybe that's why they're not really acting right away like you thought they would. The mail is saying to Ms. V, the green list applies to raw ingredients used by compounders, not as a blanket approval for all compounded GLP-1 products, but many don't comply because there hasn't been enforcement, which is probably, goes back to Darium's point of they probably don't have the manpower or the woman power for that matter. The compound pharmacy lowered my dosage from my original dose amount. I went back and forth. People say compound is stronger. I disagree. For me, it was not. my experience told me otherwise. Yes, yes, yes. And I've heard that, but I guess, it depends on where you go, and, all of that plays a role into the compounding of it all, right? All of that plays a role. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, she's answering Miss B. But the Fed's enforcement staff has been reduced with all the layoffs. Yes, 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 yes. So if something ever, well, I don't know if that's ever coming back. I mean, I don't know. These midterm elections, that's probably is the only chance of things, shifting, maybe, getting some of those workers back. Geez, Louise. I'm not gonna say. Okay. Another thing, y'all, Mel says, I don't like the patent infringement. So there's that. Full disclosure, I'm a Lilly shareholder, but I hold this opinion in general as it relates to the intellectual property. Yes, yes, yes. So I will say, that is true. I do agree with that too, because I am someone who, creates products on Amazon, right? And I wouldn't want anybody to come and just copying my stuff and selling it. But, but wouldn't that be illegal, right? You can't do it. Yeah, but that's kind of a lot. Well, don't drink anymore. Okay. But and so I guess, if you're somebody who is a business owner or you've created something, you got to get it copywritten, which, people do, or you got to get that patent, which people do. Now, the patent is going to expire, and then that's a whole nother conversation. But I guess they're saying until my patent expires. Now, when there's a shortage, we get it. I think let's go back to this. I think the shortage and all of that was just handled so in my opinion, this is not factual. In my opinion, it just was a what do you call that? A marketing nightmare. The way they handled it was just unbelievable. And who knows? And I was watching the stock because I owned stock back then when all this was going on. Just a little portion of it though. After and about a year, maybe it's been a year or some months, I've since bought more share, but I bought a little fraction of it because I thought I'm going to see how this stock works out. And if Eli Lilly could pay my gas, fill up my gas tank to go back and forth to work. And since they have like twice over with that little fraction of a share, I didn't even have a whole share at that time. And, I remember thinking like, geez, Louise, I just thought they didn't handle it so well with all that they were doing. And but one of these days, hopefully when they interview with somebody who will ask these questions and like ask follow-ups, because people have asked these questions. If you go to Yahoo Finance and you could Google in the CEO and you could see his interviews, but people don't really ask follow-up questions because these are financial channels, right? And they're worried about the finances of it all. But I would argue like Chipotle, your perception out there in the world affects your stock, affects the public opinion. And so that it's important, right? Because look at Chipotle stock. Chipotle stock used to be $3,000 a stock. Now look at it. Sorry, I gotta get these lips together. So the Chipotle stock of it all. That's a story for another day. I could go on and on about that Chipotle stock. But anyway, so that just goes to show you. Now, Eli Lilly, during all this turmoil, they would go up and then they would go down and then they would go way up and then they would go down and then they would go way up. And so we're kind of like in limbo with that now. Now, I haven't looked since this Froggy or Froglepron has been approved. I haven't looked at their stock. Let me check out the stock price. What's today? You can't buy stock today anyway. Right? Isn't it? Is the stock market closed or is the stock market open? I'm thinking everybody's off because I'm So let's look at the stocks of it all. So that's a thing too. That when you're watching that Eli Lilly stock, trust me, they're watching it too. They're watching that baby like a hawk. I guarantee you, every time the price fluctuates the least little bit. So the market is on the up and up today, which I knew it would be. Friday's a sell-off day. People usually buy on a Monday. So Eli Lilly stock is actually it's kind of down. It's down $4 from Friday. It's at nine. Oh, it just switched to $932. Okay, very good. Just think about the people that bought in when it was first, started with this whole tirzepatide. I mean, geez, Louise. All right, so Eli Lilly. Okay, all right, very good. Let's see. Okay. All right, so hi, Trucker. How are you? Okay, what are you guys saying? I do believe that we, for better or worse, mail to the B. I do believe for better or worse, I'm getting notifications on my watch, are approaching a tipping point in 2026. By the way, I do have strong opinions about the administration and their money grabbing behaviors. Yeah, it's all political. We're not going to go on the political part of it all, though. I had a colleague, Darren says, who came with concern and told me they wanted to tell me about GLP-1 and how it changed his life. He told me that I should consider trying it. And what did you say? Do tell. Are you going to tell us what you said? Oh, look at Sweet B, looking all cute. That podcaster sounds ignorant at best. Not everyone can afford the treatment. Not everyone responds to the treatment. The people have contraindications and can't take. Yes, exactly. But you'd be surprised though, Sweet Bee, how many people still don't know about it. Because I guess because we're so immersed in it and we know we're taking it. But there's some people who still don't know anything about it. And those are the people sometimes I wonder if they knew about it, what would they do? Because think about it, if your doctor didn't tell you, or I don't know how you found out, but how would you know? My doctor introduced me. So, yeah, there's that. So Angie says PCOS, the entire reason I started taking it. If I could get a compound customized somehow to help my PCOS, I would totally do it if ever I could get the brand through my insurance. Absolutely. Yes. I'm an expert on me, and I know I've been battling my weight my whole life. I was chubby prior to preschool. I am thankful to have a tool that helps me battle my weight, but I'm still I love that for myself. Very good. And I love that for you. And I'm glad, you're saying that. If you go to my post today, on my post, I talk about giving yourself grace, and I'm going to be talking about that all week. And I know people, I'm going to talk about too on my post, the difference between, now to me, your story is a person who gave themselves grace. Your story is not a person who made excuses, because there's a difference between giving yourself grace and making excuses. And when I talk about giving myself grace, I talk about it from the standpoint that God talked about it, right? And we just got off Easter, so I don't want to get on here and be preachy to people about the Bible, but I'm just going to say giving yourself grace is something that God gives us. And so why, if God is saying it's okay to give yourself grace, why aren't we giving ourselves grace? Now, to me, giving yourself grace is making them, doing something. Maybe you even know you should necessarily be doing it and you're doing it. And then you give yourself grace. And then you do better. You jump back on board, you get back on it. But giving yourself grace and excuses are totally different. An excuse is like, oh, I'm just, I know I'm not supposed to be doing it. I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to keep doing it, right? Even though you know that it's not what you should be doing. You keep doing it, and you got one excuse or one reason after another why you're not getting back on track. And sometimes we can have life events that throws us off. So, and those people, I definitely want to give grace to, because we only know what people present and what we see of people. We don't really know what people have going on. I always say behind the scenes, or what people have been dealing with like all these years. And so if people have been teased and bullied, I have a feeling, and some of these people who probably were bullied about their weight, now you're becoming the bully. Don't do that. Don't be one of those people that's, telling people how they're losing weight, why they should be losing weight, and this, that, and the other. Because now you've lost weight, and now you've lost weight. And so now it's like you feel cocky. I lost weight. I'm this, I'm that. Don't do that. let people have their journey as they want. Now, you could push people along, nudge people, but again, I'm telling you from a teacher perspective and this is factual, this is not a Didi thing. The best way to motivate people is with that positive energy and encouragement and being a role model. I always say, I could show you better than I could tell you, right? I could tell you that I'm, slimming down, even though the scale is probably not moving, but I can show you. Let me show you. Let me show you how I'm looking snatched. Jeez Louise. And I don't have on any kind of, now I'm about to pull up my pants here. But can you guys see? Let me pull up my pants all the way. I'm trying to get this thing off. Somebody made a comment and it's stuck on here. I can't get it. Where is it? Oh, that's me. That's me. Let me scroll down. That's my banner I have up. Okay. All right. All right. So here's Didi. Look at me. Look at snatch. Dun, 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 dun. And I'm gonna stop showing my behind on here because I'm not trying to. Look at my stomach. Like you can even see from the side. It's going in. I'm going in. So yeah. So you probably a lot of times people probably can't tell that because I'm not really wearing tight clothes and coming up in here, showing, I don't really wear tight clothes. That's not my thing. But yeah, I probably need to buy some new clothes, but I'm not on here preaching to people saying what you should do and how to do it. Jeez Louise. So you know what, Sweet Bee, let me give you some confetti. I love that for you. Let me find you. I don't know where you're at, honey. I don't know where you're at. Okay, so I don't know where Sweet Bee is, but I'm just about to give her some confetti wherever you are. She says, I'm swinging. She said, I'm coming out swinging. Yes, I love it. I love it. You're fighting that weight loss. Yeah, and a lot of people don't know. A lot of us have been through so much, right? With the whole weight of it all. The last thing we need is somebody that's also in our GLP-1 community, right? That it's supposed to be us against them. Let's not be us against each other. Okay. All right. That's all I'm saying. That's it. That's all. Okay. So I lost my place. This chat is just going down for days. I skipped around. I'm trying to find, let's see. Okay. Oh, so my twin says, I was taking a B12 injection with a branded GLP-1 administered by doctors several years ago. So I don't know that there is a true medical risk, but I trust my PCP. So who really knows? Yes. With the branded GLP-1 administered by my doctor. Yes. Yeah. So and so I take that too. I guess I'm doing the same thing. I'm just not taking an injection. I'm spraying it. Of course, it's probably more concentrated and all that if you were taking it in a syringe. But yeah, I know people do that. So I don't know if that's the same as putting it in this tirzepatide, situation. I don't know. But again, they say it hasn't been studied together, that combination together. So that's the concern, that there aren't studies out. JC says, if there were a great alternative during the shortage, what's changed? Well, I think the thing that they're saying has changed is all these newer ones. I don't think some of the ones like I don't want to say names, JC, because I don't know enough about them. So I don't want to put names out there. But the ones that have been tried and tested, and again, around before the shortage, and the ones that are popping up now, and the med spas and all those places that they're popping up, and you're going behind the curtain getting your tirzepatide and semaglutide. Now those are the ones I think the FDA are talking about. And then you have some ones that were new and upcoming, and they came out ablazing. They had all of us, and they still do have some of you guys selling their product, right? They came out of nowhere and they start getting all these TikTokers and young folks advertising their compound pharmacy. I think they're talking about those ones, not the ones that have been established. But again, I don't know. So that's why research comes into play. And there's still a place for compounding pharmacies. Again, it's a great thing. I might need it. You might need it. But they're saying don't just put B12 in it and saying that's customized. That's what they're saying. So I'm saying, maybe that is something that your doctor will say that you need, though. Like maybe your doctor is saying that, like your doctor that knows you, that sees you, that knows your body. So I'm just saying, get it customized, and not just with the B12. Is there something else you could get it customized? Because they're coming for that. That's why I'm saying you can do whatever you want to do. But if they're coming for that, then talk about your doctor, get creative, and do some other things. That's what I'm saying, and make it more customizable to you, right? So, yeah. And yeah, and that's the thing too. Yeah. And I went up a little bit. Let's see. Okay, she says, I think Big Pharma is going hard at the compound to take them out from making GLP-1s, and if successful, they'll hurt our health system. Yeah, and I don't think they're not going to totally undo it. I don't think so at all. I just don't think that they'll be able to, because there's so many people that need a customized approach. But who are those people? They're saying it's people who need that, but you can't make it like the masses, right? It needs to really be customized. And so I always think of it as like my prom dress. I had my prom dress made from scratch, and that prom dress fit me to the T, like a glove. It was made for my curves, my measurements. Now, if my seamstress mass produced that, everybody can't wear it, right? Because it was made for me. So I think that that's what they're saying. They're mass producing this tirzepatide with the B12 in it, and that's not really customized. That's just putting any old supplement in it. So I'm saying get it more customized. That's all. If that's what you could, if it's if it's easy to put B12 in it, can you put something else in it and make it more customized? So I just think instead of complaining, let's think about a solution to the problem. All right, so Mel says 2 things, JC, can be true at the same time. And frankly, I believe there's definitely a quid pro quo-ish part that's going on, but compounders have taken advantage. Access is a different conversation. Okay, well, let's have it. Okay, so she takes the Garden of Life true. Okay, all right. All right, so Miss V said, Mel, it's still okay if compounders are following the rules that are on the books, personalized doses or personalized mixture, but the prescribers need to document the medical necessity. Okay, and so hopefully they can do that. I'm scrolling down. I was going to say that some compound pharmacies are doing it right, and you probably have some taking advantage and just throwing something together to make money. Absolutely. And isn't that, in any profession, what profession do you know of where people aren't a bad apple, right? Spoils the whole bunch, right? And I love to make that parallel to my profession, being an educator. First of all, it is so tough. You guys probably like, we don't want to hear this. Well, I want to tell it. But I'm just saying this can apply to any profession, not just teaching, but this is so true with teaching, because everybody has been through school, right? So everybody thinks they know the experience of being in school. Everybody has been at school at some point in their life. So that experience, people think they know how it should go. So when your kids go, you're expecting a similar experience, if not better or sometimes worse, right? Because you've experienced it. We can't say that about everybody. Hasn't sold Teslas. Everybody hasn't worked in a hospital. Everybody hasn't done those things, but everybody has been through school. So that is one thing that makes my job a little bit more difficult, because the expectation is different based on experience. And then the second thing is everybody thinks that since they've been in school, they could tell you how to do and what to do and how it goes. And it's just different. But one of the things is, when I was growing up, you never heard of teachers violating kids. And you know what I mean, to that degree. It might have been like one bad apple every now and then. Now with social media, and some of these people are actually on video with these young kids, taking advantage of these young lives, doing all kind of crazy things. You got some teachers on social media acting a fool. And that's one of the reasons you won't catch me acting a fool. Not that I even do, but I'm just saying, because I don't know about your job, but most jobs you should be held to you might not even know it, but a more morality clause. Like you have to have represent them. You're representing them. Even if you think you're off duty, you are not. If you knew if a police officer was doing something shady and you knew he was off duty, you don't care. You're going to say he's still a police officer. Just like a teacher. A teacher is doing something she's not supposed to be doing. You're not going to respect that because she's an educator. Some jobs it are just you, right? So I'm always going to be known as an educator, a teacher, because it's ingrained. It's like once a police officer, always a police officer. Once a teacher, always a teacher, right? So we have some jobs. Once a doctor, you're probably always a doctor. So you have some jobs, our neighborhood heroes, by the way. So you have some jobs that are just like that. And so one bad apple has messed it up. I'm telling you, I have never heard so many or seen so many people online disparaging teachers, talking bad about teachers, talking bad about our profession. And some people have given our profession a bad name, but guess what? I don't focus on those people. So just like people taking these GLP-1s and not doing the right thing, I don't focus on those people. I'm focusing on the ones that do the right thing. I think your cup could be half empty or your cup could be half full. If you're always running to the half, if you're always thinking about things half empty, then the problem starts with you and your mindset. Same thing with anything else I can think of. I'm not thinking of the worst, police officers. I'm not thinking of the worst things that police officers do. I'm just not, because I think the majority of the people are doing the right thing. I don't think the majority of the people are doing the wrong thing. And I guess you know why? Because I believe in God. God is good. And so I like to see the goodness in people. Can I be naive and think like, oh, the world is flowers and, blossoming? Absolutely not. No. But do I think that most people are inherently good? Absolutely, because we all came from God. So I think about things like that. So when I see people disparaging teachers and having a bad experience, and and I'm sure if you guys have kids, especially older kids, you've had a teacher who you thought, why are they teaching? We all have that, but isn't that in any profession? So with these GLP-1s, you do have these compounding pharmacies, I'm sure. And I don't know personally because I never have taken them, but I've heard. Miss Linda was just on here saying she did not have a good experience. So we have that, right? But you also have the ones that I'm sure are upset, like we probably are about our profession and things that we love and are near and dear. Like, why are these folks giving us a bad name? So I'm just saying everything is not absolute. Everything is not like one way. If you had a great experience, go tell it. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. That's what you do if you have a great experience. You know what people do when they have a great experience? You don't really hear about that. You hear about it when it's not so great, right? People got time for that, right? When you mess up their steak, they got time to complain about the steak being wet, not well done. When they ask for it well done, they'll go and write that review. But if people have a great steak, they're less likely, unless they do it right then and there. That's why they try to get you to take those surveys right then and there. Unless you do it right then and there, people aren't going to go out of their way to tell you how fabulous you are. It's unfortunate, but true. And so we got to just look at things, I think, sometimes from other people's perspective. Again, everybody should have access to these meds. They shouldn't be this expensive. One day they won't be. But in the meantime, in between time, I say educate yourself, do your own research. If you've got a content creator that you love and adore, hopefully that's me. I'm one of them. But I mean, go back and still do your own research. You just have to, right? You got to think of it as like buying a house. Are you going to buy a house? Are you going to buy a house because Mayor Mindy said buy the house? Well, you just might. But I mean, aren't you still going to go and do your own fact checking? So I think you have to do that with this medication too. That's all I'm saying. That's it. That's all. NAD is expensive. They won't be at Mayor Mindy, jeez, Louise. Yeah, and I didn't know. Can you take it in a pill form? You know, when that company reached out to me, I went on the website and I said, "Dude, I barely want to inject with this pen." I say a quick pen because it's quick to inject. I'm not using the quick pen, but I barely want to inject with that. Now you're going to be to inject something else. Can I just take a pill? I didn't even ask them that. I just said no because I can't focus on anything else right now. But yeah, I'm gonna look into that. But again, I'm not gonna go jump on the bandwagon. I'm one of those people. If I jump off the bandwagon, I'd be falling off. I got to do my own due diligence. I would definitely be willing to try. Okay, I think if it's a reputable company, absolutely, yes, 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 yes. Such a compelling and nuanced conversation, Dee Dee. You go ahead, making people think on Easter. I guess I should add that. Oh, what's it? Quail Brie stops working for me. What's quail? Kale Brie. I never heard of that. Oh, you take it for. Oh, okay. But it helps with your. Okay, very good. Okay, very good. All right. Yeah, maybe. You know what? I just thought about that. I wonder if they would do that. You know, you should just ask just to be curious, boss lady. I just found out that they have a medication for bed called Vyvanse. Okay, I have not been able to get that yet, but that is what I would love to have. Vyvanse. Is it Vyvanse or Vyvanse? I think it's Vyvanse. I've heard of it too. Okay, people are saying hello to Merriman. I missed that bullet. I was going to have to pay $300 monthly, but they ran my insurance. I only had to pay the co-pay. I go monthly to see my weight loss doctor. Oh my goodness. Very good. I love that for you. Okay, she says, JC says the FDA doesn't approve GLP-1s for type 1 yet. Here I am the most with the most stable. Oh, okay. And they eventually that's probably coming. I don't know. You never know. One thing about it is sometimes they come out of the blue with stuff and you're like, dang, you didn't even know it was on their radar. I take the supplements. My doctor recommends iron, magnesium, and digestive enzymes. If she recommends a multivitamin, I'll take one, but I don't want to take anything extra I don't need. Yes, 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 yes. I agree. Dee Dee, these name brand meds do not cost that much to make. India just started making generic Wegovy and they are charging $14. Absolutely. So we know it's price gouging going on in both ways, right? And we know, and you know, it's unfortunate, but again, one day, Miss V, we're gonna be on my live celebrating when all these prices come down. It's gonna be like the house that dropped on the witch's toes in the in the Wizard of Oz. We're gonna be singing and dancing. Oh my goodness, I might wear a dress and dance around up in this joint when all this medication becomes cheaper because it's coming. My doctor has me paying more for a brand name. Oh, what's it called? Synthroid for Hashimoto. She's not a fan of the generic. Okay. All right. Very good. Yeah, sometimes generic is just not up to par, but sometimes it hits the spot. Most of my medications, except for Mounjaro, is Mounjaro. But when I get like let me see what else would I was like. No, my Eva Mist is Eva Mist. Oh, I forget. I keep forgetting to say I'm taking those. So I'm taking Eva Mist and progesterone, but I'm not taking generic forms of those. But you know how sometimes you can get a medication and it's like a cold medication and it's a generic. So most insurances go with the generic first because it's cheaper. But your doctor will say, because my doctor will say, and I don't know if your doctor will say, but my doctor, like Mindy's, will say, for this, I don't prefer generic. Get the name brand. Or most of the time, she says generic is just as good as the regular, which is great, right? It's a great option. The NSF and UPS verify supplement labels. What's on the label is actually in the product. The dose is accurate and it's been tested for contaminants. I only use those supplements now. My stack has shrunk. Yes. And we know they have a testing thing, but I'm saying the FDA is not testing it, right? It's not coming from the FDA. It's coming from that source. So I do look for the NSF and the UPS. I don't look for the UPS as quick as I will the NSF. But yeah, I get a recommendation from my doctor and I want to know what are you taking and what is your name brand? And if they struggle to tell me, remember, I always say wherever I go and buy, I want to know if the owner is there, what are you buying? What are you wearing? If it's a phone, what are you using? If it's a computer, what brand are you using? If it's a car, what is the owner driving? And I probably can't afford what they're driving. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to know, because usually that's the best product, right? If somebody works there, they're probably having the best thing. If it's a printer, what's the printer you have? And I don't just ask a one person, I ask around. Usually I'm hearing the same name, repetitive name over and over, and then I go with that, so that's how I like to. Now, mind you, I come in there already researching what I want. I don't ever go in somewhere just empty with thoughts. And then if I do a impulse kind of buy, I'll make sure I can bring that baby back. All right, all right. Let's see. Okay. That's a great point. Compounds should be $19.99. Oh, because she said they're $14, the generic. Can you imagine the day when they're $19.99? And not for nothing, I don't care what nobody said, you're still going to have those folks when it's $19.99 that aren't going to want to take it for whatever reason. And we might be saying like, oh, they don't know. That podcaster is going to say they just want to stay fat. Some people don't want to mess around with injecting themselves with anything. That's why I think the pill is a game changer. But you have those people who aren't ready. Again, everybody's not ready. So we got to meet people where they are. And like I say, if you know somebody and you think like, gosh, they would really I know somebody, and I think like, gosh, they would really benefit from the GLP-1. And I haven't said anything to them. I just I'm just going to let them see me slim down, right? And I'm just going to talk about whenever I'm around them, they're going to see that my eating has changed. I'm just going to show them. I'm not going to badger people. That's one thing I know. And I remember when I was young growing up, my mom, I was the only bigger person in my family for a good stretch. And I remember they would always harass me about what I was eating and why I was eating it. And, you're eating this and that. And it irritated me. And guess what? It made me eat more. It stressed me right out. And I also don't have those other vices going on. I will say that. I don't drink. I don't smoke. And I don't smoke anything. Not the stuff that makes you feel good. I don't smoke. I don't drink. My vice has always been, food for comfort. And, I will say I will have a cocktail here and there, mostly a mocktail. But I don't, I have alcohol that's people brought to parties that are still in my house from years and years ago. Now, wine is supposed to age finely, isn't it? Well, I don't drink it because I just don't have a desire. And thank God, I'm thanking God that I don't have like the drinking or smoking. And there's no judgment if you do. If you do, you do. I just don't have that. But guess what? I do have that desire for, overeating, overindulging, the foods. So it's always something, some people it's always something. Nobody is perfect. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So that's a conversation though for another day. Okay. So you would take it cheaper. Okay. All right. If it had the same result. So you experienced a little different. You got to make a video about that, Miss Linda. Let me know when you do too. I don't know. I have a friend that takes tirzepatide, a tirzepatide peptide from a research facility. She sent me the link, but I'm scared to buy from there. It looks sketchy, so I'll keep purchasing from Lily Direct. Oh, okay. Miss Queen, how are you? You got all those fabulous pictures. I can't see that well. I'm so sorry. My eyes are 53 and ooh, okay. All right. Cute. I love the hair. It works. You guys are fabulous. Jeez, Louise, you make me want to fix my hair. Okay, so you said she sent you to, oh gosh, don't click on any links like that. Jeez, Louise. Looks sketchy. So I kept her. Yeah. Okay. So I love that. Let me give you some confetti. Nobody's fooling you, honey. The shade of it all. The shade of it all. So I love that you did not purchase that. I hope you're still on here. What time was that when you left that comment? 9:54. Oh, it was an hour ago. Am I that far back in my comments? I'll never make it through. Jeez, Louise. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm scrolling down. Let's see. I'm scrolling down. Okay, all right. Okay, so this is an interesting comment. I think it's important to note the difference between telehealth companies who have the prescribers, compounding pharmacies who make the products, and pharma who make the branded meds. Yes, yes, thank you. All right, so telehealth companies, right? So you get a prescription for the med. Hopefully those come with, hopefully those come with the doctor. I haven't really heard of many that don't, right? I haven't heard of many that don't. The number one thing, dear, like I say, is people have to do their research when it comes to the compounding pharmacies. You got to do your research. Look for those violations. Look for how long they've been around. Look for, to me, it's important. It's what have you been doing before this GLP-1? Now, you could be great. You could have started out, like I started on YouTube. I didn't start with the beginning of YouTube. I started out, I came in the fold and just, started YouTube. I'm not a, professional YouTuber or anything like that. So we all have to have our start. But are you doing a good job? Are you on that? Are you safe? Are you secure? What are you doing since you've been in the game? You got to research that. What is that looking like? So that's what I'm saying with the compound pharmacies. Look out for, what you're putting in your body. You're injecting, most of the time, you're injecting something in your body. To me, the injection of it all just weighs a little bit differently on my thinking than if I were just taking a pill. Now, should it? Probably not, but for some reason it does. Um, let's see. Uh, let's see. Okay, so we got Woody in there. Okay. Okay. This Linda was saying about her experience. I'm scrolling down. I saw Tucker. Mail is so deep in the chat. Okay, we got Miss Toy. How are you? I am on spring break an hour ago. I said that. Mel said, I do my research. Best believe. Yeah, research is so important. Seriously. I mean, if nothing else came out of this, this is where you have to do. Thank you so much. This is, all of you guys coming on here, seeing so many people, log in. But this makes my morning. I came across your channel this morning. I love your energy, and I'm encouraged by your success. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm gonna give you some confetti for giving me encouragement, because when I'm like everybody else. I say this. You got to rely on other things when the scale is not moving. And I've had to do that myself. And today is one of those days where I feel like, geez, Louise, the scale is not moving so quickly, or if at all. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling so good. I knew that I would be taking care of my life like I should. So yeah, and I want to speed up my little weight loss a little bit. So, I just got to really, for me, not that you don't have to do this, but for me, I know what it's going to take for me. In addition to this walking, is cutting these carbs out. I got to cut some of these carbs down. I'm living my best carb life. And I'm getting the protein in too. But yeah, I gotta cut back on some of the carbs that I'm eating. Just a little bit, get a little bit more strict, because that's one thing I have not. I'm trying to think. Yeah, that's one thing I haven't done. So I've stepped up the exercise. The other day, I'm gonna post this on Saturday. My goal was to get 7,000 steps in. Are you listening? This beautiful lady. Let me put her back on the screen. Where did she go? Oh, geez, Louise. Oh, Mel is saying, okay, here she is. I don't know if you're still in here or not, but I'm going to tell you, one of my goals was to step it up. And so I set a goal to walk 7,000 steps. 7,000 steps. I wasn't even getting totally of 7,000 some days. So my goal was to get 7,000 steps, and then, in the back of my mind thinking, let's shoot for 8. But really, my goal was 7, right? It's in my phone as 7. So when I get that 7, they're like, good job, Diva. So the other day, I got 10,000 steps. I'm so excited for myself. I'm going to have to show you guys. I'm not so good with showing stuff on this thing. I don't know what it is. Oh, it logged me out of here. I'm going to post it on my, it logged me out. How did it log? I had to charge my phone. and restart my thing over. Okay, I should have. Let me see. I'm going to show you guys. If not, I'm going to post it. I'm going to have to post it. I got to look up my password. I thought I had it in my phone and I don't. Yeah, I can't get in my account. But yeah, 10,000 steps I got on Saturday. I was so excited and I was on the move. Was that Saturday or Friday? I want to say it was Saturday. So I'm excited. And if I got 10,000 steps before, I didn't notice it because I wasn't tracking it. So tracking brings attention. It's a saying, you can't, if you don't track it, you don't know what it's doing. You got to track it. Okay, let's see. She says, I'm always energetic. You'll love her. Thank you. I try to be too. And it's so funny. People behind the scenes, especially Mel, she'll know days I'm not feeling well. And she was like, I didn't know how you would make it through this live. And once I get on here, that's so true with some people who are, coming out on stages and performing and stuff. And when they say that, I used to be like, they weren't sick. Like Michael Jordan scoring all those points when he had the flu. Well, now I know that's true because I hadn't been on here sick and you guys never knew it. I came and gave the energy and, I feel like if I gotta come on here and be kind of not myself, I just won't come on. So yeah, and I haven't hit that yet. And I hope I don't, hit that, because that would mean I would be sick, right? So I love that. So thank you. You have made my day. Anissa, how are you? Okay. Now she says, I watched your video where you took the shot in your arm. I took my last 2.5 in my stomach on Friday and I'm ready to go up to 5. Did your arm make a difference? Well, I'm going to tell you, I hope you're still on here, but catch the replay if you're not. I went to my arm. First of all, I thought, who could do their arm? Because it seems like it's in such an awkward place, right? And I figured it out. I'm gonna have to send you, if you comment in this live stream in the not this comment section, but maybe I will put it in there if I can find it. But if you go to the description of the and make a comment to me after this, I'll put the video where I actually did my arm injection. It was easy peasy lemon squeezy. The video is all of 5 minutes. But so I did my arm and I thought, geez, Louise, is it going to make a difference? I don't know if if it was hopeful thinking or what, but I'm telling you, I lost, and I had not lost weight a couple of weeks, maybe going into 3 weeks in a row. I switched up that, because I always do my stomach because that's where the fat hangs out and loves to be. And my arms too. The fat hangs out my arms too, but more so in my belly. And so I always inject there, but I switched it up to that arm and I'm telling you, I saw the weight loss coming again. Now here recently, I put things, I've done injections in my thighs. Like I've been doing, my thighs, rotating the thigh. So I'll do thigh, left thigh, right thigh. Wait, I'll do left thigh, right thigh, stomach. And I said I was going to include the arm in that rotation just to go across the board to see how it works out. So no. So let me know when you're doing 5 in your arm. I'll do it with you because I'm in a little bit of the scale's not moving situation. But that's okay because I'm looking good. I got to go with that. I gotta go with that. Looking good. Geez, Louise. She says not behind the curtain. Yes, we can see that waist, Harper. Yes, ma'am. And just think if I had on some Spanx, I would be pulled in. If my mom was here, she would say, put on some Spanx. I cannot bring myself to putting on Spanx. Now, I showed you guys when I first came on here, you got to rewind it back. I showed you guys, I don't want to show my whole belly, right? I'm not in crop top season at this point. But I showed you, I don't have on Spanx or anything. So when I wear the Spanx, you're not going to be able to tell me nothing. Geez, Louise, I might stand up the whole time and talk from afar. Jeez, Louise, hello. Is this Rita? I don't know which Rita now. Rita, my girl, Rita. Is it 2 Ritas out there? I'll take it. I love that. I crack myself up too. How are you, Miss Rita, this morning? It was 10:38 when you left that message, so not that long ago. That's a good point. If we were able to truly customize the compound, we would cut back on all our other supplements. Throw it all. Yes. And make it work. So somebody, I'm telling you. Okay, so compounding pharmacies out there. Me and my girl Jamie, we didn't gave you an idea. No, no, I don't know. They're smart. They probably already thought about this, but yeah, do some research. Like, get some. Are you studying the people? You're putting some B12. Put some other mixtures in there. Don't try it on any of the peeps I love though. Put some other mixtures up in there and customize it a little bit more. See how it works. Because you're right. We wouldn't need all these supplements. You know, when I show you my supplement game, you're going to be like, geez, Louise, lady. I should live to 105 with all these supplements I'm taking. Oh, geez, Louise. Okay, all right. Most people are good. Most people are good. I really do believe in that. Now, I think I made it down to this much. Now, Anissa, did she say something? I haven't seen her saying. Okay, I just don't. Michelle. Oh, Michelle says, I've been taking, first of all, welcome, Michelle. How are you? I have been taking brand name, but I'm switching to compound because I can't afford cash pay at the higher prices. Okay, very good. So do your due diligence. I can't even give out a recommendation because I don't know enough about it and I don't take it, right? And I don't know enough about it to feel comfortable saying that. But I just, if you go back and watch this replay, you'll see some of the things that you should to look out for in a compounding pharmacy. And I think I've talked about it on my live streams before. But yeah, I just would say, yeah, I don't know. What would I say? Toastmasters is great. Oh, Michelle, good luck. Come back in the live. I'm live on Wednesdays at 8:30. I just kind of did a pop-up today because I'm on spring break. Now, I will be live again this week. So you guys, you got to come back and join me. We're going to be having another one of these great discussions. I don't know if I'm going to do it Thursday or Friday, but you are not going to miss it because this is going to be a controversial topic in the GLP-1. And hopefully the content creators can come in and get on it too. Get on in this discussion, because I think this is something that kind of affects us. It could kind of divide us, and maybe this conversation will kind of bring us together. Everybody, compounders, branded, people who lost fast, people who lost slow, people who just have benefited from this GLP-1. You want to come back. What do you guys think? Should I do it Thursday morning or Friday morning? What do you think? Should I go live Thursday morning or Friday morning? Now, really, I probably will do both, because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to have a live from my members. I just thought about that. I'm going to so I'll let you know on Wednesday for sure which day I'm going to do it. But it's going to be a great discussion. So I want you to come in here and have the discussion with me. Anybody celebrate anything before we leave? I want you guys to also go and check out my video. I'm going to take you to that video. You guys might be saying, she's talking about eating a whole lot. Well, that's because I'm eating. I've always been eating, getting my calories in, trying to be in a calorie deficit. I am doing that. But for Easter, I know people have been saying, like, I didn't eat on Easter. I've been eating this food for years. I don't need to. And I said that to myself too. I've been eating this food for years. I don't need to eat this food. But I cooked the food. Good morning, Monica Walker. Look how beautiful you are. Love it. You look so professional. I love that. But so for Easter, I cooked, and mainly I cooked honestly for my dad. My dad was having some dental issues, and so I cooked for my dad. And I thought, and I did eat some of it. Now I still have, like, what I'm going to be eating this week is the smoked turkey or roasted turkey I got from Honey Baked Ham. I got some greens, and they're calling my name. What time is it? It's not noon yet. And then I have some corn on the cob. So I'm going to be eating that. And I have some deviled eggs. So I'm gonna focus in on the protein and the veggies of it all. So this week I plan on eating good. I am gonna make that lasagna, and I'm gonna try to record it. I'm gonna make a zucchini lasagna. So if you got a good recipe and not just the basic one I have, drop it in the comment section of this video when I go off live. If you got something fancy smancy that can just like spice it up. But I want it to be healthy. So if yours is like grandma's zucchini lasagna that's 1,800 calories, I don't need that one. I need something that's tasty, but good too. So I just want you guys to watch my video. I think I gave some great tips if you have food noise. Now, a lot of people have been telling me that they have food noise. The GLP-1 has stopped working for them. So that's why I'm making videos. I'm making videos that people say they want to see. Now, that might not be you. But once you get that food noise, and I'm telling you, if you don't get it, if you've never had it, you can't relate to this, but you can relate to the tips in the video. But if you've ever had food noise, I'm telling you, it's an ongoing situation. Because you started GLP-1, that doesn't mean you're going to get rid of the food noise totally for a lot of us. Now, that's not everybody, because I don't know everybody, but I know what people tell me. So I want you guys to go and check out my video. And I am going to show you this video. I love this video too. I think it has some great facts. If I wasn't myself, I would be watching this video, but I already know what to do, because I did some research to get this video going. So I'm going to show you guys this video. I want you to go to it, check it out. I'm going to share my screen here. I hope I can share my screen correctly. I'm not good at sharing my screen. Am I sharing my screen? I don't even know if I'm sharing my screen. Am I sharing my screen? You guys, can you tell me? So this is the video. It's the latest one out. It's called Your GLP-1 Stop Working. Do these 7 things now. You got to go check that video out. Check it out, because I'm saying, why am I hungry? A lot of people want to know why they are so hungry. And I'm telling you what you could do if you're one of those people that want to eat. And one of the things we know about this medication is it controls your eating up to a point, right? It's at some point, it's not going to just control your eating. You're going to have some habits to kick in that's going to control your eating. And actually, one of the things I'm doing now is one of the tips, right? Drinking water, staying hydrated. Because a lot of times when I was researching, I remember my doctor told me this years ago too. Like, a lot of times you might think you're hungry and you're thirsty. So drink water, lead with the water, drink the water first. And I do drink a lot of water. My daughter can tell you that. She knows, besides my favorite drink besides water is lemonade. But if I just had to choose two, I'm going to choose water if I'm getting it from a place where you can drink their water safely. Because that's also a thing. So I'm going to choose that water. I might put some lemon in it, and that's about it. I just love the water. So I stay hydrated. People always say, now I have blemishes on my skin. You guys see those little blemishes here and there. I do have some blemishes on my skin, but for the most part, I get complimented on my skin. And I'm thinking, the skin of it all. So if I'm getting complimented on my skin, that means I'm doing something right. Now, I just started doing like a regimen, like a routine. I feel like a grown-up. And I'm going to tell you about that. I've been doing it for 3 months now. I haven't noticed a huge difference, other than my skin does feel soft, like a little bambino. I will say that. But other than that, I don't notice a bunch of changes, but I think the water is the key. Now, one downside to this water, I will tell you, if you can do this, if you go to bed at 11, I would cut that water off 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. And I know that's you sound like my daughter now. She's like, what? I'm thirsty. Maybe 2 hours, because I'm telling you, over a certain age, you're going to be up going to that restroom. Since I've started regulating my hormones a little bit better and taking the GLP-1, I'm not up 2 and 3 times. Since my A1C is normal, I'm not up as much using the restroom. But if you're drinking a lot, you will go to the restroom. You just will. So I would cut that drinking off. But before that, wake up drinking water all the way until a couple hours before you go to bed. Get you some water, some tea, whatever you put in it. But make one of those, at least make 16 to 18 ounces, or I don't know, 32 ounces. Make it just pure water. Add some lemon, add some cucumbers, add some strawberries, whatever you need to add to it. Fruit, oranges, squeeze some orange juice in there if you need to. Lemons are probably one of the best things you could squeeze in there. If you can't, go without drinking your water pure like that, eat some cucumbers. It's mostly water. Get you some watermelon. You got to deal with those carbs though, but mostly water. Fruit is also very good for getting that water in. So, do that. That's one thing I will say. When I was, really just out of shape, overweight, just all the things were going on, I was still drinking that water. So I'm telling you, that's what probably held off my diagnosis for so long, is I was taking these supplements and you know, drinking water. But again, that was just a band-aid, right? And we know things bleed through the band-aid, which happened to me. So with that said, are you guys celebrating anything? Because I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna make me some what am I gonna make? I'm gonna heat up my turkey. I don't know if I want to have let's talk about it. I don't know if I want to have a turkey sandwich, a smoked turkey sandwich, or is it roasted turkey? I think it's roasted turkey from, you know, it's those pre-cut slices. Go to the honey baked ham. Now it's a lot of sodium. So if you have to watch the sodium, be careful. I don't have high blood pressure anymore, and I make sure I don't get over the recommended amount. So I do kind of monitor that sodium, and I'm flushing it out too because I'm drinking a lot of water. So go and get that. So I'm getting me a couple of slices of that honey baked turkey. I think I'm gonna have deviled eggs on the side because this is lunch, and then for dinner, I think I'm gonna make some salmon, have those greens, and have a slice of a thing of corn on the cob. So that's what I'm eating today, just in case you wanted to know. That's on my menu. So I am I'm about to, what am I about to do? I'm on spring break. So you know what? I think I'm gonna go back to bed. I was telling this to somebody earlier. I was up last night getting that video out. I cooked, I cleaned right after I cooked. My daughter and I dyed Easter eggs, and then she wanted to bake some cookies. And, you know, even though we already had a dessert that earlier that day, she wanted those cookies because she knew they were in there. She didn't even really want the cookies. But hey, we had to make some bunny cookies. So she did that, and that was kind of late. So I went to bed late, and then I was up early. And I was up early, and then I was like, I'm not going to look at my phone. And then a notification came through that phone, and I was on it. I've been on that phone since, just answering. And then I started answering my comments, and just, it was just a whole rabbit hole of stuff. And so now I'm up. So after this, after I do this, I'm going to sit my bed up. I can, you know, I can put my bed all the way up. I'm going to sit up in my bed, and like Brandy, sitting up in my room. Have you guys read Brandy's book? You know, I'm reading that. I'm listening to that now. And I don't really like the way it's in poetic voice. Like, I'm not a big poetry fan unless, you know, I'm, you know, picking out poetry. So it's written though in such a way that it's just kind of hard for me to get into. But her story, you know, her life story is good. So I may listen to some Brandy. I may watch some Netflix, but I'm gonna be Netflixing and chilling today. No YouTube work. I'll answer comments if you want to email me. I think Mel sent my email. If somebody wants to email me, I think Mel did, and I don't know what I did with it. I think I lost it, Mel. I'm sorry. Okay, here it is, Mel. Bam. So if anybody wants to email me, you know, and if you want, you know, some advice, I'm not a doctor, but if you want some advice on what to look for in a compounding pharmacy, I could send you one of my previous videos, but I'm not a doctor. So anytime you hear me say anything, always check with your doctor. This is for informational purposes only. This is not to tell anybody what to do and how to do it, because I'm learning myself what to do and how to do it. I don't really know a lot about the compound pharmacies because I'm not taking it, right? So I haven't researched it enough, you know, to know and give anybody any advice on it. But I could lead you. It's some, you know, of these content creators that I think have done a great job talking about it. And not for nothing, the one that I know, I think she's in here now. I didn't want to say anything because she wasn't in here, and I didn't know if she wanted me to. Hey, Jazz, how are you? But I know Pamela has done a great job with talking about her experience with compounds. So she's probably one of the ones that I know. So you want to go over there, subscribe to her channel if you want more information about compounds and compound pharmacies. And Pamela, how are you? She's congratulating Sweet Bee. She's saying good morning. Yeah, you have to go back because you're a compound lady, so you can know why I'm sending people your way. And so, yeah, so it's not a whole lot of people that, you know, I can know to recommend it. You know, like I know, you know, what she tells me. I interviewed her also. We talked a lot about compounds. So you got to go check out my interview with Pamela. You know, I'm going to put that in the chat because she talks about compounds. Actually, I think that's a great interview to learn about compounds. I'm going to put this in the chat. So you can see this video. She lost 50 pounds. I'm copying that now, Pamela. I'm going to put this in here. But she's another good person. And this is our interview. So if you want to click on that interview link, if you're in the chat, if you're not in the chat, you can't get to it. Sorry. I'll put it in the link of my description. But if you go to my channel and look at the playlist of the interviews I've done, you'll see Pamela is in there. So there's that. All right. All right. So yeah, this was a great discussion. This was a great discussion. Geez, Louise, I'm excited. I'm excited for the things I've heard. I heard some great discussion in here, some great conversation, not people being judgy and and all of that, and people speaking up and saying, hey, I don't agree with this, that, and the other. That's okay too. I think we have to learn how to have discourse in a in a respectful way. But one thing's for sure that everybody said, regardless if they agree with compounding pharmacies or not, is we want that medication to have, we want everybody to have access to the medication. Everybody, right? To have access to the medication. And that means it's going to be cheaper. And one day, we're going to be playing this back and we're going to be like, we can't believe how expensive these medications were. But for right now, while you're navigating through it, just do the best you can do. Safety first. I'm just going to put that up there. I'm going to end with that because really it's safety first. Safety first. That's what we want. We want to have safety first. And I know people want results too. And it's just, I think with these with everything we have going on, if you have good results, good for you. Share that out. Let people know you're having good results. And not for nothing, if you're not having good results, share that out too, right? We want to lead people where things work. Now, we know what works for one may not work for the other. So I just think access is important for everybody, but access with safety. So I think I want to end with that access and safety. How about that? Access and safety. I love that. I thank you for listening. I didn't know if I was going to be the only one on here today, so I'm glad I wasn't. I'm going to say access for all. People can quote you and say stuff you're not saying with this IA and all that. So I want to make sure I get it in print that this is what the Downsizing Diva is saying. Access for all and safety. How about that? Can two things be true at the same time, FDA? That's what we're hoping. All right. So you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you for hanging out with me. I will see you on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. I will be back sometime this week. I'm going to put it up. We have a great topic for my next midday morning live. Cheers to you. I still got my coffee. Do you? Look at my coffee. I still got it. Do you? Have a great day. Love you. Bye.